This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
It's the Value Wrestling. We're live with your Raw review. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are live. We are here. This is the Value Wrestling, and this is the Raw review for October 23rd, 2023. And we are live. We are doing this, and let us get to the point. I am here. You know me. Everybody knows who I am. I'm the one, the only. I am the big time. Yeah. And I'm joined by my colleague and tag team partner in all this, the mastermind,
Paulus, Clarke.
Oh, you know. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Rogers came off the air. And now we're just checking to make sure everything's working and running perfectly pretty. All right. Good. So we are here, and we are going to get into it. We are going to open up. So we started tonight with Judgment Day coming out and celebrating that they won their titles last week. They did their celebration. Finn Balor was definitely into it, doing all the great stuff until we hear, there's more than one royal family in professional wrestling. Out comes Cody Rhodes. The American Nightmare comes down. Him and Judgment Day have a back and forth, and then Damian Priest says something about a challenge, and Cody Rhodes accepts. So now we are going to get Damian Priest versus Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel. But Cody, of course, says, why wait? And Damian Priest says, that's fine by me, as we see Dom and Rhea coming up the aisleway. Of course, Jay comes out, makes the block. Eventually, Cody winds up outside. J.D. McDonough blocks off Cody. Cody winds up getting hit with a steel chair, kind of the lower leg, the ankle area, by Damian Priest. And that is how we start off the show. Of course, then we wind up in the back with Cody, Jay, and Adam Pearce, all trying to get Cody to go get checked out. That's how we open the show. A great opening. We get another great match coming into Crown Jewel, and we continue the storyline with that. Mr. Clarke, what is your opinion of how we opened Raw tonight?
I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, is it just me, or did Finn Balor and Damian Priest kind of give you Paul and Nash vibes? Maybe Hunter and Sean vibes of how they were kind of just bouncing off and vibing with each other in the very early part of that opening segment.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely that vibe, that feel. It was really good. It was really interesting. I liked how Balor really got into it. Go ahead.
Can I do it? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great to see Balor really get animated and come alive in that moment. It was really, really good and exciting. So from there, we got our opening match. We got Alpha Academy versus the New Day, and we found out now that there is a new member or a junior member of Alpha Academy. Akira Tozawa is now being thrown in the mix of Alpha Academy. He comes down the ringside along with Maxime Dupree, and they take on New Day. Really good, solid match, as you expect, between Alpha Academy and New Day. It's always going to be good stuff. Of course, in the end, we see Kofi hit the Trouble with Paradise, roll out of the ring, and Xavier Woods walks through the top rope to hit an elbow for the 1-2-3 on Otis. Good, solid match. Good, fun match. It is what you expect, but New Day gets the win. Not a whole lot to talk about there, but it was a good, solid match. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts?
Yeah. Basically, they're reestablishing the tag team division. It is what it is. I do like the fact, though, that they're actually finally doing something with Tozawa. Junior member? That works for me. It's like, we don't expect him to win a bunch of matches out of nowhere, but the fact that it's going to be more character development, it's going to add to what is already a great stable. I mean, I'm really down.
Yes, no, it's awesome. And if you're in the chat, you're welcome to drop your opinion, your comments, join in the conversation because that's what we're here for. When we do this live, we want you to join in and join the chat. Also, make sure if you can hear us, let us know down in the chat below that everything is good. Anyways, so from there, we went backstage. We saw Becky Lynch backstage. She had an interview. She was talking about her title defense tonight, and she has a title defense tomorrow night on NXT Halloween Havoc. Tonight she's taking on Indy Hartwell, and tomorrow she's taking on Lyra
Valkyrie. Lyra Valkyrie.
Valkyrie. Okay. Want to make sure some of these names I'm not as familiar with, so making sure I get the right enunciation. So we got an interview segment there. They asked about why would you go back-to-back nights with matches, and Becky's basically because that's who I am. So we got the story there. From there, we ran into a video package of Ivar, making Ivar look really good, setting up everything going there. And then, of course, we got the replay last week of the conversation between Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. And we see Seth walking backstage when Rhea Ripley walks up, and Rhea tries to basically talk to Seth about how he needs Judgment Day. They have a back-and-forth conversation. So really interesting, setting different seeds. Rhea trying to convert Seth Rollins to Judgment Day, I guess. Really interesting. Mr. Clarke, what did you think about that breakdown in segments? Anything interesting, anything like that?
I just don't see it happening. I mean, Seth already shot her down anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you have Rhea trying to recruit these different people, trying to spin her web of deceit, if you will. Like, none of this is happening. But good storytelling, good shot for trying. A for effort.
No, it's definitely very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what they're actually going to do here. They've definitely made it seem like maybe that they are going to set up for a Drew joining. I mean, it seems like maybe that is more of the flavor. Won't say it's going to happen, but they are definitely teasing a lot of stuff in that, what could be possibly going down. So it's going to be real interesting how that plays out going forward. Anyways, from there we had... Yes, I lost my moment. So, Becky Lynch. We got the Becky Lynch defending the NXT Women's title against Indy Hartwell. Lyra Valkyrie was at ringside. And a good solid match. Indy Hartwell got a good match out of this. We haven't seen her on TV. I'm glad to see that she is on TV being used. Of course, she was with Candice LeRae. Candice walked her out but went back into the back to watch it on the big screen. They had a good solid match. Eventually, Becky Lynch reversed a move into the disarmer, and Indy had to tap out. Becky retains her title. From there, just to add to it, after the match, we saw Candice LeRae in the back watching the big screen. Of course, they cut back and forth during this match, showing Candice watching the big screen. And then Candice was attacked by Xia Li after the match. And so we got an interesting segment there. It's good to see Xia Li getting something to do. But overall, what did you think of the Becky Lynch-Indy Hartwell match, Mr. Clarke?
I thought it was a fine match. Only thing that irritated me was at one point Becky Lynch put a cross arm breaker on her, and Michael Cole was like, "Oh, the disarmer." It's like, no, that's a cross arm breaker. You're supposed to be the professional. How do I know this more than you do?
Oh, he was awesome.
Eventually would get the disarmer on her.
Yes.
And would win the match. I was like, they're two different setups. How did you get them wrong?
Wade Barrett was giving him a hard time for not being able to say, what was it, curriculum? I think that was the one he was having to struggle to say curriculum. And so, yeah, we got that through the night a couple of times. Anyways, backstage, we come across Adam Pearce. He's talking to security. They're setting up for the women's match at Crown Jewel. They're having a contract signing tonight. So he's talking to security. Up walks Nick Aldis. He shows up, and so we get the National Treasure on Raw. And if you don't know why I'm saying the National Treasure, learn your history. Maybe somewhere down the road somebody will break down who Nick Aldis is and how he became the National Treasure. But anyways, Nick Aldis is here. He apologizes for how he dealt with Adam Pearce on SmackDown about, being new to this, quote unquote new to this, and maybe he overreacted and shouldn't kicked him off SmackDown or had him escorted out. He was just trying to establish his authority. Adam says that's fine. That's fine. It's water on their bridge. Adam kind of forgives him in his Adam Pierce way, and basically invites Aldis to stick around and enjoy the show, to kick back and watch how a show is ran. Maybe he can learn some stuff. Then a random referee walks in, and Adam says, "How much security do we have?" And before the ref says anything, he's like, "Double the security, double it." And so we end that scene. So, Mr. Clarke, what do you think about the presence of Nick Aldis on Raw, the national treasure? It's been on Raw.
I think, like the last time I was on air, I told you exactly how much I love Nick Aldis. The fact that he gets to play this role, this character, to be the GM of SmackDown. Give me more Nick Aldis on TV. It's just going to be, he's going to pinpoint things very well, one. He's going to put it onto the talent that needs it. So it's like, the story is kind of between the general managers, but eventually they have to bring in the actual talents. So it's like, that's going to give them more of things to do as well. The idea of eventually doing Raw versus SmackDown, it's going to start political. It's going to start between the GMs. And that's where we're getting that slow burn to right now.
Yeah, as long as they do it right, I'm excited and okay with it. It's just they got to do it right, not as bad as they used to do it. Of course, with Nick Aldis and the way he comes off, it almost makes me hungry to see the classic wordy Chris Jericho back in WWE to be like on Nick Aldis' side, just because the conversations they could have with the vocabulary both of these men have. I mean, it would be just great entertainment for people who enjoy that type of vibe. I'm just like, man, Nick Aldis and like a Chris Jericho with that vocabulary and them would just be amazing. But unfortunately, Jericho's tied up with AEW, so I'm getting that.
You're saying their conversation would be very poignant.
Oh yes, it'd be great. You know when you get people like that, it would be really great TV. You'd love it, but we won't get into the whole discussion why you. Mr. Dictionary. But anywho.
Ooh, I need one. Still.
Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to buy Paulus Clarke a Christmas gift, go ahead and send him a dictionary. That's all he has for Christmas. Anyways.
Punk my two front teeth.
Anyway, so Adam Pierce is now in the ring, and we're going to get the contract signing for the women's title at Crown Jewel. Which is really interesting. We went from the original Crown Jewel where they didn't allow any women to be there. Then we got a women's match. And now we're getting to a place where we're actually going to have 5 women in one match. So you got to give it to the Saudi Arabia. You got to give it to them over there, the crowd, the fans, the people who are in charge. Originally it was very much women could be on the show. That then they start allowing at least women's matches, but now they're really opening the door. I think that's impressive that they're going to have 5 women in one match at Crown Jewel. And to me, that's a big deal. Other people may not see it as a big deal, or they may not understand it. But if you watch how far we've come, and this has been a really short time. Crown Jewel has not, I don't know, what are we, 2 or 3 years into this? So, it's been a fairly...
That was more like 4 or 5, but in any way you look at it, like you said, it's been a relatively short time.
Yeah, for such a change, so it's really awesome. Anyways, Raquel Rodriguez, the Dora Explorer of WWE, comes out first, followed by Shayna Baszler, followed by Zoe Starks, and then, of course, we get the nameless one, the one who we will not speak of on this show, comes out.
We missed.
Do we need to go? Anyways, the nameless one comes out. Security is surrounding the ring like lumberjacks. The nameless one looks at Pierce and goes, "Where's Rhea?" Acts like she's not going to sign because Rhea's not there. And he's like, "Yeah, no, she's going to sign later." And then she kind of takes the pin and like does this thing with it. She doesn't even sign it. She just goes, It was stupid. Anyways, after that, Rhea's music hits, and you always got to love Rhea's music hits. The crowd's chatting mommy. And, of course, Rhea's like, "Yeah, you can chant my name." Rhea calls the match a conspiracy, telling Adam she's going to make his life a living hell. And that mommy is always on top, which makes me wonder, does that mean Dom's always on bottom? And how does Buddy feel about that one? But, hey, that's a different time for a different place.
I do not want to get kicked off air, so I'm going to say nothing.
Yes. So the nameless one talks to the other. She's trying to tell Shayna that Rhea wants her to squash her That's what she's doing, and she the nameless one goes to Zoe Stark. She goes, she just wants me to squash you. Then she goes to Raquel and says, oh, she just wants me to squash you. And then Raquel nails her, and then everything breaks down, and we get a multi-battle. In the end, sadly, Rhea is walking away laughing as the other women battle it out, and in the end, the nameless one is standing tall, kind of making the point where Rhea wanted her to, Rhea was using the nameless one to squash everybody else, and yeah, of course, the crowd was chanting half the time. The security was holding back. They were like, let them fight, let them fight. So, great segment. It continues a great build. It leads into a couple things. I don't like how they're building the one person look strong, but good segment. Can't wait to see this match. I'm excited to see how they're going to get Rhea Ripley out of this one. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on the contract signing?
Trying to get Rhea Ripley out of it. You know where this is eventually going. Between Rhea and the nameless one.
Yeah.
But they're just kind of using this filler at first. Because it does put more women on TV. And that's a part of the point. Is let's use all the tools we have here.
Well, getting her out of it, I mean more by how is she going to win or how is she going to retain her title.
You're right. We don't know the specifics, but I expect her to retain the title.
Yes. No, that's the thing. Oh, I should be on here, not that. Okay. I had our weekly roundup banner on. This is not the weekly roundup, folks, no, but that'll be live at Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let's go back to the Monday Night Raw on the banner. But anyways, anything else you want to add to the contract signing? Yeah, I'm looking down and going, oh, wait, I'm on the podcast for the weekly roundup instead of my Raw banner behind me. We're talking Raw.
Can't wait for the Sunday after next. See what happens for the match.
Sunday or Saturday?
I
think it's Saturday.
Okay. Actually, you might be right. It might be Saturday.
I think they've switched them all.
I just know it's not this weekend. It's the following weekend. Is all I really remember.
It's the 4th. I remember that much. So whatever the 4th is, I think that's a Saturday. I know next month's going to be busy because we've got
Saturday is the 4th. Yes.
Yeah, Saturday is the 4th. We got Crown Jewel on the 4th, then we got a weekend off, and then we go into Full Gear for AEW, and then we go into Survivor Series of every following next Saturday. So it's going to be a busy month at pay-per-views, which will be live after each and every one of those pay-per-views. Minus Crown Jewel, it'll depend on what time that's over and some other elements. Once we haven't fine-tuned those details, but we'll let you know. And of course, if you're here and you subscribe, and then you ring that bell for notifications, you will be notified whenever we go live. So make sure you do those things. But let's get back into the Raw. Backstage, we see Imperium Ludwig Kaiser is, of course, pumping up Giovanni Vinci for his match against Johnny Gargano. Bronson Reed walks up and tells Ludwig to go tell his boss that he gave him a hell of a fight. If he wants to do it again, they can go for a rematch. Ludwig looks at him like, my boss, why don't you go tell him yourself? And so the Imperium walks off, and we get Akira Tozawa come up behind Bronson Reed and tap him on the shoulders. Reed turns and looks at him like, what do you want? Akira Tozawa says, I want the match. Bronson Reed's like, yeah, no. And so Akira Tozawa decides to chop Reed, and Reed looks at him and goes, okay, it's your funeral. This is when we get Maxine Dupree coming out of nowhere and walking up and going, oh, crap. She was like, I was supposed to be watching you. Why'd you pick a fight with him? What did you think about this backstage segment? I thought it was really good. Very entertaining.
Bronson Reed tried to give him an out. He said, I'm feeling merciful. No. Then dude chops him. I'm like, oh, Lord. I mean, it was meant for a comedic effect. I get it. But at the same time, you're just like going, dude, no. You want to start smaller if you're going to pick a fight. You want to work your way there.
It was a great segment. I think overall how you shifted from the Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci getting ready for the Johnny Gargano match. You had Bronson Reed still showing that he's in contention or still wants a shot at the Intercontinental Champion. And then you led to Akira Tozawa, so you kind of had multiple things going on, and they all let each thing kind of breed into one another. So I thought it was great. You saw what Tozawa was going to do. I don't know why he picked the biggest bat in the arena to go, But hey, I'm not Akira Tozawa, so. Anyways, just led into a really good match. Johnny Gargano versus Giovanni Vinci, which you would expect between these guys. A great match. It wasn't a long match, but it was a really good match. They got to show off some of their stuff. Eventually, Kaiser got on the apron trying to cause a distraction. Ciampa came out of the crowd. It looked like pulled down Kaiser and attacked him. Gargano was able to get the one final beat DDT. He gets the pinfall after the match. Of course, we get the reunion of DIY in the ring. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano celebrating in the ring. It is great to see DIY back in the ring. I just assume that I can see what the story's going to, and I'm begging Triple H to give us a story that didn't really get the ending that we wanted coming out of NXT. I know Triple H didn't get the ending to the story he didn't want, so I really believe this is what we're going to see. How we're going to get there, what the next Goldie is going to be. It's going to be very interesting because that was what that whole talk about. The whole purpose and a lot of that was a belt. Which belt will they fight over eventually? I don't know. Could they all be fighting over a world title or a universal title? Maybe. It's possible if they build it right and we have time because, I mean, you can run DIY for a year or two, or well, maybe a year before you get to that story. But anyways, good match. Always love to see Mr. Wrestling, Johnny Gargano on TV. And Giovanni Vinci is a good character. They're not doing as much with him as like Ludwig, but it's still a good match. Your thoughts on Johnny Gargano versus Giovanni Vinci, Mr. Clarke?
Actually, I don't know if I can actually add any more to that. I love seeing European excellence. So the fact that they're actually doing something with Imperium, the fact that they're doing something with DIY is fantastic. I'm along for the ride. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be interesting. Can't wait to see more DIY on TV and how that goes and where that goes. And of course, we'll talk more about them in a little bit here because they did reappear on the screen. So it definitely looks like there's something going on there. But happy to see it. We'll have to see what everything is going to play into that. We got a backstage segment with Nakamura doing his Nakamura thing. Speaking in Japanese, and it's really hard to follow the subtitles and try to get a full thing. Nakamura touched on Ricochet, basically saying he's done with Ricochet, and he's looking who's going to be next, who's going to be that challenge, who is worthy to set Nakamura free. Nakamura basically referring to something inside him that he wants to release, but he's looking for that next challenger to make that. Thankfully, they are figuring a way to keep Nakamura hot, even after losing to Seth Rollins in that title match. He had the battle with Ricochet. He came out looking good. And now they're continuing the same storyline. I want to see what they're going to do with this whole idea of setting Nakamura free. Are we going to get strong style, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Nakamura back? And who's going to be that guy to do that? Your thoughts, sir?
It just really depends on who they want to set him up against. They could do some really good work with Gunther, if that would be the eventual major feud, if you will. They could do some good work with Bronson Reed. Although I've granted they're two different heels, but we're in a new era. You can do heel versus heel now, maybe, and still make it look good. Those are the first two people that come up to mind that I think that would be, that would create fantastic matches.
No, I
see how it goes promo wise.
A Drew McIntyre turning with a Nakamura, you could have something built there. I don't know who else is. It's getting hard. Yeah, it's going to be interesting who they decide to pair him with. So, anyways, from there we got I don't know if this was announced at all. I didn't hear much about it. It was kind of surprised, but we got Logan Paul on Raw, and he comes out to the ring, and he's already set for a match with Rey Mysterio for the U.S. title at Crown Jewel. A lot of rumors, a lot of speculation. Some talk about Rey Mysterio turning heel after this. Other rumors coming out now is that Carlito will turn and possibly cost Rey at Crown Jewel, turning Carlito heel and taking the LWO with him. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if I want to see Carlito as a heel right now. He just came back. I kind of like where he is as a babyface. So it'll be interesting. But go ahead.
I just don't see Carlito as the leader. I see Santos, if anyone.
True. I would have thought Santos would have been the one to turn heel. But I'm kind of interested. Rey Mysterio has had a lot of talks about never being heel recently in interviews, so it'd be interesting to see him heel.
Yeah, it's been many years.
Well, he's never been heel in WWE, at least.
That's fair.
I think he was briefly heel in WCW, but I think it was in that iffy water things where it was like, hey, you couldn't really look at him as a heel. I don't really call a big, strong heel run for Rey Mysterio at any point in
they tried to make the Filthy Animals heel, and it just didn't work. They were all too popular.
Yeah, it was too hard. But anyways, we had Logan Paul. He gets on the mic, and out comes Dominic Mysterio, and of course Logan has to call him Dirty Dom. The boos get louder. There was I guess Sean Ross Sapp had came out and said that they piped in these boos. I don't know. This is what he was saying, that during this segment these boos were all piped in. Anyways, we get the exchange between Logan Paul and Dirty Dom. They pretty much run down Rey Mysterio, how he's a deadbeat dad, how they're both similar, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, Logan Paul turns his attention to ringside announcer Samantha Irvine. Says that he knows it was hard for her to declare him the winner at SummerSlam, but Samantha kept it professional. He thanked her and said that he owed her flowers. I guess this is a new thing in wrestling. When you do something good or great, everybody's like, oh, I got to give you your flowers, got to give you your flowers. I don't know where this terminology came from, but it's the new thing. So he talked about giving her flowers. And then eventually Dom and Logan convinced her to get in the ring. And then Logan tried to push her into saying that, announce him as the new U.S. champion. Logan Paul, come on, do it. Eventually, out of the crowd, out of somewhere, Ricochet comes flying in. He takes out Logan Paul. He takes out Dom. It's a back and forth. Dom almost gets the upper hand as Logan Paul slides out of the ring. Ricochet takes down Dominic and then goes up for a 450 splash. But as he's coming down midair, Logan Paul pulls Dominic out of the ring. Ricochet, of course, magically, as Superman as he is, lands on his feet. And he goes and checks on Samantha Irvin, his fiance, as they said 20 times. Michael go like, "Oh, that's his fiance. Like, okay, we got you. We got the story. We heard you the first 10 times you said it. So, good segment. It continues. Logan Paul. It's interesting. They seem to be continuing storyline with Ricochet. Dominic comes out to the boos that make him just almost entertaining now, just to watch him try to overcome the boos. Your thoughts on this interaction between Logan Paul, Dominic, Samantha Irvin, Ricochet?
Before we get to that, so the concept of giving someone their flowers, I couldn't tell you where it originated, but the earliest I've heard it was in music, actually, especially when it comes to award shows and who people, feel like they didn't get the recognition that they deserved. I mean, it's been out for decades. It's not new talk. It's a little more newer, maybe in professional wrestling.
That's more of where I was saying. It's kind of this new thing that's came out in wrestling that where you start talking about flowers. I get the general concept, but yeah, I know.
But yeah, I mean, like the general talk as far as in popular culture, it's been around for decades. Looking at this segment, just had to watch it. It was what it was. I really like the use of Dom in this segment to kind of further. It's like, since Logan Paul is going to be taking on Rey Mysterio for the U.S. title, I like how they kind of, even though it's almost like feeling like you're beating a dead horse, talking about the deadbeat dad stuff all the time, the fact that they're still using that energy and it's still working with the audience.
Yeah.
Like, well, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Exactly. It definitely carries on multiple things here. You keep Ricochet kind of seeing that. I guess we're going to get a Ricochet Logan Paul rematch somewhere in time. It gives Logan Paul something to work with. He's butting up with Dominic, so it kind of, lies on that Rey Mysterio thing. And then we have Dominic, still going after his dad. So a lot of seeds there that you keep stories kind of circulating. So if you want to come back to that chapter, you can open that and go there. So next we had I think the women's tag titles on the lines. I'm not sure, but anyways, we had Chelsea Green and Piper Niven against Natalya and our mystery partner. And I was kind of shocked because I thought she was gone. I thought she had left to go do something different in life. But anyways, Natalya comes out, she comes down alone, and the music stops, and here we have Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross is back. I heard rumors that she had gone on to do something else, that she wasn't going to be in WWE. But hey, Nikki Cross in wrestling is not a bad thing. Totally. It's very okay. So she's not. When she first came in with the group that Eric Young was. Sanity. She's not the Sanity Nikki Cross. She's not superhero Nikki Cross. Thank God.
Thank goodness.
And she's not the bounce all over the place craze. She came out very much subdued, zombie-like, or catatonic. I don't know. She just kind of came out staring around. No facial expressions, no anything to her. She just walked down the ring. And then she got up on the apron and stood there in the same catatonic kind of stance, just glancing off into space with her jacket still on. Michael Cole tried to say, "Oh, I haven't seen her blink." And every time the camera went on her, she was blinking. I'm just like, you can't put a camera on her and then you go, "Oh, she hasn't blinked." It's like, no, fool, she just blinked like 2 times. Anyways, so she's on the apron. Natalya and Chelsea started off. Eventually, Nikki Cross jumps down off the ring and just walks off. She just leaves for whatever reason. Anyways, Nikki Cross disappears in the back. Chelsea Green hits probably the ugliest unprettier or kill switch, whichever you prefer to call it. I've seen it a long time. And then Piper Nivens hits her running body splash, crossbody, whatever you want. They get the 1, 2, 3. Natalya goes down. And later in the show, I don't know. We didn't get anything. Oh, yeah, we did get something later in the show. But, yeah, no, that was Chelsea Green, Piper Niven versus Natalya and Nikki Cross. Your thoughts on this interesting match?
First thing with Chelsea Green, I think they call it the Unpretty Her now.
Okay.
Which is like, really? You just can't go by one level. And we did see Nikki Cross in an earlier segment with Chance and Kaden. When Natty was talking to them, she was also just kind of sitting in the background a little bit.
Okay. I must have missed that one.
Yeah.
I know we saw her later, so.
Nikki Cross, obviously, they've been doing this slow burn, like depression kind of storyline. Not so much in words, just more in action. So the fact that she's coming out catatonic, if you will, we'll see what the actual story is.
Yeah.
But they've been keeping in the same mode. Like they are telling some kind of story with her. They are doing some kind of character development, some kind of change. We'll see where it leads to and why she is the way she is now.
Yeah.
This match was basically to give Chelsea Green and Piper Niven something to do.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Anyways,
I like Chelsea. I love her facial expressions. I think they're doing good work with what they're given. Wish they would give them a little bit more, so we actually care about the tag titles themselves.
Yeah,
but
I'd love to.
They're doing more now with those tag titles than they have been for the last few years. So pick and choose your battles.
Yeah. Of course, I'd love to see Chelsea Green with her real life husband. So hopefully soon, WWE and the Rider Taker, or what is he now? The Indie God.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what he is. He's wearing Indiana Jones gear, but he's the Indie God. Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona has done the Cody Rhodes. He has done the Drew McIntyre. He has gone out on the independent scene, reestablished himself, and is a hot commodity. So we'll have to see. I know he's asking for a good payday, but he's also asking for some creative leeway. But under a Triple H ran creative, I think maybe Matt Cardona could find his way through WWE, especially with all the great stuff he's pulling off these days. It's been really great for the stuff I've caught of him on these indie scenes. So we'll see. Of course, he was
together, they could always be ready.
Oh, exactly. So from there, we got a flashback to the start of the show. And then backstage, we see Jay and Drew walks up. Drew goes into his apology about how Bloodline costing you to lose your tag titles. Like, he knows how that feels. A very sarcastic apology from Drew McIntyre to Jey Uso about, I'm sorry that the Bloodline interfered. I don't know how that goes. It's just... But he goes, I've learned one thing. I've been getting a lot of great advice about it. You just got to get over it. So Drew shares his advice, and everybody says, you just got to get over it. And then Drew leaves his ominous warning to Jay about whatever happens to Sammy is on Jay, because if it wasn't for Jay, Sammy wouldn't have been put in this position. So, simple there. Anything you want to throw in there? No?
Nothing to add.
All right. Anyways, we're backstage again, and here's The Miz, and he's talking to Anna Pierce, completely complaining about how he's been on his show. Runs down all his accolades, say he's the greatest Intercontinental Champion. Very interesting how he went into being the greatest Intercontinental Champion. I was like, well, that was kind of a great way to put him in a match with Gunther, but we didn't get that because what happens? He gets interrupted by Rhea, who grabs the contract and signs the contract for the 5-way at Crown Jewel, because I guess she never got in the ring and signed it initially. So she finally signs it. The Miz gets cut off again. This different thing where the Miz is going to complain. I guess the Miz is now Chelsea Green. I mean, it feels like, hey, it was what they were doing with Chelsea Green for a while. Now they're doing it to the Miz.
Right.
Coming in, complaining, gets cut off. So we'll have to see how that is. Of course, then Dom walks in as Rhea's walking away, and Rhea pays mommy to Dom and checks him out. And so that was kind of the backstage segment. Is there anything?
Well, when you look at Chelsea Green, she was a Karen. I guess somewhere we had to have a Chad somewhere, and that's what the Miz is.
I don't know what they're doing with the Miz. I guess this is what they have for him on TV. It's kind of interesting. He keeps getting interrupted. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But him running down his accolades of being the greatest Intercontinental Champion, but now Gunther's at I forget now, 500 something days or somewhere up there. He's up there.
Yeah.
So interesting. I thought they maybe had an opportunity there to be like, oh, you want to claim you're the greatest Intercontinental Champion? Well, I got a match for you. So
and
anyway,
definitely book it now officially.
Yes. All right. So from there we get the match between Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. Good solid match between these two. These two were great. It's what you expect with Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. Sami Zayn looking like he belongs on that level, belongs in the ring with Drew McIntyre. So it was really good to see him there. Eventually, Rhea Ripley's music hits. She's walking out to the ring. This kind of distracts Drew. I believe Sami hit him with the I'm forgetting the exploder into the corner. And then he was going to look like he was going to go for the Helluva kick, and he got kind of distracted himself. With everything going around, and he went to turn to go back after Drew, and Drew kind of did a quick Claymore, which got him the pin. Drew McIntyre over Sami Zayn. Rhea Ripley was out there, definitely setting up the issues, the betrayals, the what is going on with Drew McIntyre and Judgment Day and everything else going on there. Your thoughts are on the match. Really good match, though.
There's nothing to add. It was good. Continues what I'm looking for. So basically, Rhea is obviously putting more and more contention out there, putting more thoughts like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah. No, it's definitely continuing the storyline. That's the big thing. We got to continue the story. I think this gives interest. It's still peaking. We got to see what's going to happen at Crown Jewel. How this all plays out. Is Drew McIntyre going to wind up in Judgment Day? Is this the trick? Is it Drew McIntyre replacing maybe a Damian Priest who's going to go out? I don't know. Damian Priest, they've kind of pulled back for a while there. They've really borderlined him on maybe going babyface, but it seems now they pulled him back and kind of holding on things. So we'll have to see.
I see Drew McIntyre too much of a lone wolf.
No, I agree. But he can't be.
Tease the idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll actually pull the trigger on that one.
He just can't be
of him being in Judgment Day.
He just can't be the lone wolf, though. So.
Yeah. Well, hell, the lone wolf can't be the lone wolf anymore since all his gimmicks were put in the fire.
Well, last time I saw him in NXT, he looks a little more impressive. He looks back more closer to that version of him and looks like somebody that could actually do something than what he had became with all the commissioner and then bum ass Corbin and then gambling rich happy Corbin. So hopefully there's some saviors with Triple H getting Corbin revamped from the damage that one Vincent Kennedy McMahon did. Because I don't blame Corbin. I think Corbin has a lot of talent. I think there's something there. I just and he's made anything he's been given, he's made work. He's tried his best to make it work, whether we liked it necessarily or not. I give him credit that he's tried to get these gimmicks over to the best of his ability. Have they been the right gimmicks? No, but hopefully we're on the right path now. But back to Raw, we go backstage. Nick Aldis was talking with, I forget their names. I'm sure you remember them.
Aiden Carter and Casey
Catanzaro. There you go. Nick Aldis is talking to them when Adam Pearce walks up, and Adam Pearce, they dismiss the ladies, and Adam Pearce kind of gets into it with Nick Aldis about why are you talking to my stars. I said you could hang out, but you don't need to talk to my stars. Aldis kind of looks at him like, okay, I get what's going on here. I think I'm just going to take off. And Adam Pearce goes, yeah. And then we see Nikki Cross just kind of wander across the screen past Adam Pearce, and Adam Pearce just kind of shakes his head and goes, "I need a drink." So we get a moment there with your buddy Nick Aldis, the national treasure. Again, before he gets kicked out of the show or says, "I'm going to leave." From there, we got the Bronson Reed versus Akira Tozawa match. And Tozawa was out with Maxine Dupree. This is a fairly decent match. I mean, they did let Tozawa get in some offense. They didn't just totally bury, they didn't make it a quiz squash match with Tozawa. They definitely let Tozawa get some action in, made Tozawa look something like he has something, and definitely looks like he's going to, advance, maybe being around the Alpha Academy. We'll have to see. Bronson Reed then hit that Death Valley driver, and then it hit the senton, and then hit the tsunami. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to get up when you get those three moves in combination, because it was Death Valley driver, the running senton, and then up for the tsunami, and it was 1, 2, 3. Bronson Reed wins. It's what you expect, but I think
Absolutely.
I'm thankful they didn't make it just a squash match on Tozawa. At least they let Tozawa try to get a little action in. You knew he wasn't going to win, but at least they made it look like a contest. Your thoughts?
You notice with Triple H being in charge of creative, people actually get showcases at least. Like, even if you, like I say, even if it's all predictable, you know who's going to win. They're going to make it entertaining. They're going to make it interesting by giving a showcase. Like, because it shows you what they can do, and also shows you eventually they will probably be put into a storyline or put into something where they actually do win down the line, and not just, we're not going to Broken Brawler everyone.
Exactly.
You know it's going to be complete squash.
Or Barry Horowitz.
Oh yeah, Barry Horowitz. That's right.
Anyways, then we're backstage. And this is where I guess we got to talk about them. It feels like they're going to breathe fresh air into the tag team division. So Akira's back there with Alpha Academy. Chad Gable's talking about, you're going to be the newest member, a junior member of Alpha Academy. We're going to help you get you trained up. The New Day are there. They're the whole Tozawa thing that's tore up, or whatever they say about Tozawa. So the New Day is there, and then we get Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano walking in, and now they've officially announced DIY is back. DIY is here. And so they have a camaraderie between these three tag teams, definitely showing us, hey, we're making a push for tag team wrestling. I kind of get excited about this. Of course, I'm going to be excited about Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa being back together. Going to be excited about DIY or DIY.
There you go.
Yep. Okay. Being back together again. I wonder how other things are going to play out, because we haven't seen Dexter Lumis in a while. I don't know if he's still hurt or what the situation is. We know Indy and Candice LeRae kind of have been pulled away from Gargano, so we'll have to see. But I'm glad to see that it looks like with this tag team wrestling, looks like it may be starting to take a turn back in WWE. Your thoughts on this segment, sir?
Like TNA, tag team wrestling is back.
TNA.
It was a good little segment. Continues everything that needs to be continued. I thought it was interesting how they also have that product placement of the Dallas Cowboys championship.
Yeah.
They had to continue his workout. Like, interesting way of going about it, but
yeah.
You too can own this if you want to go to WWE, or no, tell me, shopwwe.com.
Yeah. I'm still looking for that Jacksonville Jaguars belt. I don't know why I can't find one.
Thank you.
All right. So after that, we get Drew's walking backstage, and Seth, he runs into Seth, and they start getting into a little conversation, going back and forth. Seth, of course, congratulations on Drew on becoming the newest member of Judgment Day. Drew kind of goes, no, but I seen you talking to her earlier, but you didn't say no. They have this back and forth, which continues this storyline. Your thoughts on continuing that little storyline?
Any little thing that they can poke at each other to continue the story. That's all that was.
Yeah. No, it was simple. It was what it was. It was getting to the point. They're just continuing the storyline. We got to get the Crown Jewel from Crown Jewel, then we'll see what the fallout is. It's going to be interesting how we finish up the end of the year and how we build into Royal Rumble. I think we're going to get a really hot Royal Rumble. And I think we're going to get one of the better roads to WrestleMania than we got a long time, because there are a lot of stories that we're already seeing that the groundwork, these paths are starting to be laid out for what could happen at WrestleMania, as long as somebody gets hurt. Knock on wood. Anyways, it's time for the main event. We got Jey Uso versus Damian Priest. Bauer eventually Bauer comes down, tries to interfere. He winds up getting splashed in and out, and then eventually Priest hits the south of heaven for the 1-2-3, and then Bauer jumps back in the ring. And we got we got Priest and Bauer beating down Jey. They go out to get chairs, and this is where hero Cody, Super Cody, comes limping down to the ring to help break up the day. Chases everybody away. Cody and Jey Uso in the show, celebrating in the ring, fighting off Judgment Day. Damian Priest gets the win, still looking strong, and he will be going into the Crown Jewel against Cody Rhodes, but Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso stand at the end. Your thoughts on the Jey Uso Damian Priest match?
Mostly this was for the story beat, obviously, but I really like the Damian Priest Jey Uso match because, like, these are two guys that they're trying to get to rise, that they're trying to really work on. It's like, under the Vince McMahon rule, I don't think these two would get the same opportunity to try to get over.
No.
And so the fact, like, they're not the super megastars yet, but they're working on it, and I love that. They're really trying to build them up, and the fact that they got this main event slot to try to give the audience a reason. Hey, we are the future. We are what is coming up. Like I said, I really enjoyed this match just for that reason alone.
Yeah.
Let alone the technicalities of it, if you will.
Yep.
They ended it to where they needed to. They had to keep Priest strong because since he has that match with Cody. It's like I don't like seeing Jey Uso lose too many times, but I understand, at least in this particular instance, it's like this was the smarter course.
Yeah. Anyways, that was Monday Night Raw. I think it was a decent, good Raw. I think we got storyline build to continue things. We still have open-ended questions. I think they did enough to keep piqued interest. We got a kind of a Logan Paul moment, which continues his feud with Rey Mysterio. We got to see the National Treasure on Raw. That continues that story, so I think we got a lot of advantage to the overall package of building up into Raw. I enjoyed it for what it was. It kept me mostly entertained. There wasn't any moments that I can specifically point out that were the sleeper moments, the bathroom break moments. So it definitely felt like a good, solid Raw. Wasn't great. Isn't going to be the best Raw of the year, but it definitely filled in holes, kept stories going, and was smooth. You, sir, your overall thoughts on Monday Night Raw tonight as an overall?
Like you said, it was a strong Raw. Well, it was a good Raw. And the point was, it does, like, not every Raw has to be this super great, show. The point is to build to those, premium live events. And that's exactly, it did its job. It's doing what it's supposed to do, keeping your interest in, so you can get to that next higher chapter, if you will, at the premium live events.
Yeah. No, and it built in other things, like we got the Ivar package. What are they going to do with Ivar? It definitely seemed like, they're taking interest there. They're building the women's NXT title. And then we got, of course, DIY back together. We got this tag team feeling that, the tag team. So we're building to a pay-per-view, but we got other little things that we're peppering in here to keep going. Okay, this is going to be interesting. But overall, a really good Raw. I think it did great, and it was a very, very good show. With that being said, yes, this is our new thing. We are going to come in after all the main shows each and every night now. So Raw and SmackDown, right after they are over, we will be doing those shows, a live review. And then Dynamite and Collision will be doing live shows after that. Now, Rampage. Rampage will probably most likely be added into Collision because we'll probably do SmackDown. We'll come live. Then we'll probably watch Rampage after that, after we do our live. And then, we'll add that into Collision. If there's a whole lot to talk about that, Rampage is an hour. Some days, some nights it's really good. They do something interesting. Last week's Rampage, they did really good. The Rocky Romero Mystico with an eye had a really good match. Best 2 out of 3 falls, and it took up most of the night. So it was good. So yes, we'll probably cover Rampage, but it'll probably be like on Saturday night after we go after Collision, and we cover everything on Collision. So that is the new status. And then the weekly roundup is still live every Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be live here our third partner in all this, Miguel Z, will join us for that, and we are going to round up the whole week. We are going to talk about news, rumors, storylines. Over at Assessment, was there anything in particular shows that we want to discuss a little more in depth? And of course, we are going to also dive a little more in depth into New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're going to bring a little more of that to the table, so we can bring some new stuff into the bigger picture. But the weekly roundup is really going to become a roundup of the whole week in a joint discussion. But we're going to be here for a Raw or a show review: Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, Collision, Rampage thrown into Collision, and try that format. We're going to go live right after every show. So make sure you ring that bell for notifications. That's the key. So when we do go live, you will be notified. And when any new content comes up, and there is a lot of content that we are working on, you have Big Time Ranch, you have the Messiah's Wisdom with Marty Richards, you have 100% March with Jane Abbott, and you have several other review shows that are coming out. We have Story Time, which is a new feature. There's talks about going back and doing old pay-per-view reviews on those. So there's a lot of stuff we're working on, a lot of stuff we're trying to get out there. It's just a process in time, getting all that there. So ringing that bell so you know when anything's new. And of course, every day we have coming out this day in wrestling history, which you get to learn some interesting facts. I think it's fun to do. I learned some interesting facts. So make sure you ring that bell for notifications. Make sure you subscribe so you're part of this, because being part of all of this helps us grow and allows you to be a part of the Value Wrestling family, and that is important to us as everything else is.
Universe.
Yes, exactly. And we are marching close to 100. We are trying to get to that 100 mark to be our first kind of goal, and then that 1,000, and then hopefully to that first play button level. That'll be the big challenge.
100,000,
hey,
I
believe it's something like that. I forget exactly what it is. But we'll march our way there. But we're going to start with that 100, then that 1,000, and we're going to keep going. And we need you to be a part of it, and we appreciate you being a part of it. And of course, always join us for our live, because you get to be a part of it. You can jump in the chat. We want you to jump in the chat so we can, you can put your opinion out there and discuss with us. And of course, you're always welcome on any program, any show, anytime to voice your opinion. We may not always agree, but we can always agree to disagree. We just ask you to be polite, respectful to one another. We don't need you, no reason to be rude, but you're always welcome to voice your opinion. No opinion is necessarily wrong. Just because you don't agree with it does not make it wrong. Mr. Clarke, is there anything you want to add to our closing out? Is there anything else you want to say? Is there anything I'm leaving out?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
I mean, other than the fact that you can always go to Spotify to catch our buddy Miguel Z doing the New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound podcast over there on Spotify. We are in talks that hopefully, maybe on a delay, he will put it up on Spotify, and then maybe a week or two later, he'll put it up onto YouTube. We're hoping to possibly get that started going. So if you're not necessarily
more synergy.
Yes, exactly. Well, it's cross branding, getting everything connected. So we may have some more stuff on New Japan Pro Wrestling coming to the Value Wrestling channel. We're hoping and building on some ideas to maybe bring some more of the information on the independent federations. Even let you know about wrestlers that may be out there that are on the independents that maybe not all of us know, but maybe we should know, because there are a lot of names that may be out there that people should be talking about. There are some hot names that we discuss. There's more members to the bloodline, just the ones you see on TV. So I mean, and that's not. I mean, they're in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think they're in MLW and all over the place.
Other independents as well. Mm-hmm.
And so we're in discussions of possibly bringing some of those people to your attention, bringing them names, maybe future stars or people we may see coming up. Anyways, so we're working on that. There'll be another story time coming very soon. I'm working on it very dearly. I just got to figure out a couple more things, and that'll be out. But overall, that is everything. I think that's it. I think we're good. I think we've covered everything. We've had a good show, and I'm just rambling on. Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, as always, as I close out every show, you know what it is. It's always until the next episode. It's time to say. And we are going to get out of here on this note.